Hi, Liz here, and we are at EMO's Creative Studio, where anything you create is beautiful because you created it. Today's video tutorial, I'm going to show you how to do quilting on a simplistic basis. I'm just going to show you straight line quilting. So, let's get started. I have a very small mat that I want to put some quilting on, just in the blue part. I'm going to leave the border free and open of any stitching. What I've done is I've gone ahead and I've put some lines on this quilt, on this part, on the fabric, using a pen called a friction pen. And a friction pen is a pen that can be used on the fabric. And how you would get rid of these lines is, let's see, where are we at right here? To get rid of these lines right here is after you've stitched it, you just press really gently and the heat takes away the lines. I'm doing a crisscross, and I think in between each line it's about an inch and a half. I've drawn lines this way and I've drawn lines in this direction. I have my machine set at a longer stitch. I think it's at 3.5. So I want to try to make this a one continuous strip of sewing going all the way around. So the first thing I'm going to do is, number one, I have my walking foot on here so that both pieces of fabric go together as we're sewing. Let's see if I can get this closer so you can see what the heckaroonie is going on here. Let's see. There we go, and as I bring it closer, you'll be able to see what I'm talking about and what I'm doing here. Sorry for adjusting while you're watching. Okay, I'm going to, instead of starting at the corner right here, I'm going to start a little bit further up along. Number one, I want to be able to tie my strings and not have any edges or strings to unravel. So I'm going to try to make this one continuous stitch as much as possible. So I want to line up my line that I have on here, drawn on here, to right underneath the needle. Again, I have the stitching set at 3.5 because I want a wider stitch when I'm stitching. Got my foot down, and I don't have a lot of pins on here because it's a smaller item. So let's get started here. You want to be as precise as possible following the lines. Now I'm here at the corner where I'm going to make a pivot, lift, pivot, try to center my line so I can see what I'm doing. And I'm going to go slow because this is pretty much, believe it or not, my first time that I'm going to be quilting in this manner. I've never, I've quilted before, just drawing, you know, straight lines, but I've never really done a diamond shape or any geometrical shape before. Okay, I feel like I'm losing something here. All right, turn it this way. See how the line is? I don't know if you can see the line right here. Now it might be off a little, it doesn't really follow the line, but it's as straight as I can get it. And I'm sewing and sewing and sewing. Again, I want to try not to have a bunch of sew marks. I'm going to pivot. Let me take this pin out because it's in the way. And I'm going to go ahead and sew. I'm trying very hard not to sew onto the brown border. Oops, it's going to come out crooked. As much as possible. Trying to make my line straight. I'm using a light ivory stitch to give my item, my mat here, a little bit of a contrast. Now I'm going to end up right where I started, but what I'm going to do is I'm going to back stitch, and hopefully it won't look funny. Okay, so that I can go on to another line. Let me back it up just a little bit. There we go. And now we're going to go ahead and stitch. Again, I'm trying to follow the line that I see the best way I can. I'm not going fast because I don't want to have a wobbly line. Alright, so I'm as far as I can go with making pivot turns. So I'm going to raise my needle, raise my foot, and pull out so I have a nice long tail so that I can do some tying. As you can see, I've got a pretty decent, let's see, you can see this, I've got a pretty decent stitching going on. It's not too bad. And this is how it looks on the back. I'm going to go ahead and see if I can start it in another location. I'm actually going to start it up in this corner. No matter how hard I try, it's probably something I'm going to have to learn how to do, of not having a lot of threads, tails. It's just, I guess, something I'm going to have to learn how to figure out and do on my own. So here I go again. I'm quilting my item, and instead of going all the way across to the corner, I'm going to stop at an angle where I can pivot and try to make a continuous line. Right here. Let's turn it. And remember, I'm trying not to sew on the brown part. Stop, pivot. Trying to make sure I keep that line as close to center as possible. And I'm going to keep on sewing. There we go. Got right here. And I'm going to continue sewing. One more. Pick it up. Pivot. I'm not really looking at my article that I'm sewing on because I'm busy paying attention to keeping the straight lines. And you know what? I think there's only 2 more lines that I have to do here. Put this down so I don't. I'm going to go really slow because I'm not going all the way across. I'm going to pivot. And I'm going to stop right here. I'm going to lift my needle, lift my lever, cut off my threads, give myself a nice long piece. And I'm giving my item a quick once over. I think I only have to make up one section, one line. I'm going to run my finger across, and here it is. I only have to sew right here, but I think I've gotten everything across, 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 across. Yes, this is the only place where I have to finish stitching up. Again, using my eyes. Right in the center. I'm going to pull out this pin, and I'm going to go ahead and Sew all the way to the corner. I'm not sewing on the brown. If I wanted to add more stitching, I can actually stitch in the ditch, but because I don't want to do, you could do that if you were doing something like this, but because I don't want to, I want to just keep it as the diagonals or the diamonds in the center because I think it'll look really pretty. This is how I'm going to end up leaving it. So lift my needle, lift my presser foot. I'm going to pull out my pins because I'm done quilting this. I think it's turned out really cute. As you can see in the back, it's got a really nice pattern to it. It's not as wrinkly and bumpy as I expected it to be. The next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to put on a binding all the way around, and I'm going to show you how to do that in an upcoming video. So my name is Liz. We are at EMO's Creative Studio, where anything you create is beautiful because you created it. Like, subscribe, comment below, share with your friends. Come visit me at EMOS Liz at facebook.com. Until the next time, happy quilting.